Courtside now to talk about the game, and I was just saying second half's kind of where it got away. Is Kansas State the kind of team, because of the way they turn people over, that they play on momentum, and when that thing just kind of gets rolling, it can snowball against you sometimes?
I don't know. We just weren't the better team tonight. That's the bottom line. Is they were better than us, and we didn't play well enough for long enough spurts. We had our moments. We had our stretches where it looked like what we need to play like, and unfortunately, it just wasn't long enough. It just wasn't long enough, and certainly the turnovers in the second half started rearing its ugly head, and then they started making some shots. Crowd got into it, and the game changed very quickly.
Coach, I thought in the first half, in the beginning of the game, I made a note here, 7:47 in the first half, 26-22. Pace was what you wanted, I thought. And then all of a sudden, towards the end of the first half, Kansas State starts getting into the paint in transition, making easy shots, and I think the game got away from us. But as I said on the show, I saw us for 3 practices this week, how hard we worked on defensive transition. That was an emphasis of your practices, I thought. And yet Kansas State, I think, is really good in offensive transition. So what do you do when a team is that good? Because you've worked hard on your defensive transition.
They're right now in the early season, they're 11th fastest tempo offensively, meaning their possessions are the 11th shortest because they get to the shots that they want quickly. And certainly we knew that. And like you said, we worked tirelessly at it and thought we had a really good plan. And, it's one thing to try to replicate the other team as best you can, but certainly we had the principles down. And then at halftime, the very thing you're talking about, we showed them 2 or 3 clips where we just didn't sprint, first of all. We didn't sprint. And if you don't sprint back against a team that pushes the ball, you're going to have a hard time, especially when they got, a guy like Haggerty and Nate Johnson that are just bullies, strong fullbacks playing basketball that can really get downhill and they get a little momentum. And it's hard if you're not in the perfect position, as you transition back to defense. And we talk about building those walls with the ball and not allowing splits. And it sounds good on paper and it looks good in practice sometimes, but and then in the second half, obviously your confidence gets shook a little bit and you don't sprint back quite as hard as you need to.
What did you think about Quincy Ballard's play tonight?
He had his moments, he had 10 points, 6 rebounds, 5 for 7 from the field. Didn't think he protected the rim like he's capable of. He had 1 block, but at the end of the first half when everyone knew in the gym that they were going to drive the ball and he was standing at the charge circle, I was disappointed that he didn't get that one. That was a momentum swinger and, kind of pricked our balloon a little bit there. But he definitely had some moments where he showed what he's capable of around the basket, defensively, offensively. He just got to, build on it. He's got to have more stretches, more plays, where he kind of shows his teeth, if you will, a little bit.
Let's go back to you talk about the principles and of your defensive transition, and you had those in place. But principles work, but sometimes they don't work against a guy like P.J. Haggerty. Coach, he's just so good. He goes anywhere he wants to with the ball, and he creates so much. How do you stop that? I mean, is there a way?
Well, he was as good as advertised, and he's got such good size. That's the killer. Is he's a big guard that has got great experience. He's gotten better every year. We certainly are familiar with him, but he had a All-American line. 13 for 21, 37, 8 and 1 turnover.
Yeah.
We just having a hard time generating turnovers defensively. We just can't turn defense into offense like we've used to. We just don't turn them over very much, and something's got to give that way because we have to be able to do more of that, to help our offense out a little bit.
we talked about, or people have talked about Jaden Epps being able to score, and tonight I think he showed he can be another scorer for us. Now, he hunts shots.
Yep.
He's looking for shots, but he can make shots, so that's another positive that I think happened tonight. But talking about guarding, and we talked about this, your teams have always been noted for their toughness. They're turning people over, turning those turnovers into points, and guarding the ball. What was your take tonight on our ability to guard the ball?
Yeah, it was mixed results at best. We had obviously some really good possessions where the practice got into the game, and we were revved up in the right spots, and I thought we had a pretty good plan. Obviously, if I was outside looking in or watching on TV and not know what our plan was, and you give up 98 points, it doesn't look like a much of a good plan. But it's an area that I believe in wholeheartedly. I don't care what your defensive principles are. If you can't guard the ball and you're not really good at guarding the ball, you're going to have a hard time. No matter what your ball screen coverage is, no matter what your throw the ball in the post coverage is, no matter what your gap coverage is, if you can't guard the ball, every single time and keep it squared up, if you will, it's going to be a struggle. And right now, it's something that we just don't do it at a high level often enough. We just take our foot off the gas a little bit, or someone's not ready to guard, their match, their turn at the ball, and then you get in a rotation, and obviously the offense is ahead of the defense then.
All right, so you get your first back-to-back of the year here. Turn around tomorrow and play New Mexico. So take me through what the next several hours look like for you as you get ready to move past this one and get ready for another one tomorrow night.
Well, like I just told the guys, regardless of how bad we feel right now, and we all feel bad. It was a pretty somber locker room. Felt really good going to the game. I thought we had made great strides. I felt really good about how we practiced. Our energy was really good in shoot-around and in warm-ups and in the locker room. You could feel it. They knew it was a good opportunity for us. And so my message with them is, as bad as you feel right now, you feel worse if this happens tomorrow. And we have to pick ourselves up at the mat. We've got to, obviously, it'll be a long night. Advantage New Mexico playing at 6. Us playing at 8:30. I don't know what time it is, but I know it's late. And we're going to have to, burn the candle at both ends tonight and get a plan to present them in the morning and have a modified shoot-around. And then at 6 o'clock, we're going to hopefully be motored up and ready to go and ready to compete at a high level.
I'll let you go get after it. Thanks for coming out. Appreciate the time.
All right, guys.